Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, my fellow student. Inshallah, today we are going to continue with the topic of solving quadratic equations. Okay, so as you all know, we've already learned how to solve quadratic equations by the way of factorization. So to recap, we have three particular ways or three methods that we can use to solve quadratic equation. Number one, by using factorization. Okay, so today we will learn on how to use the quadratic formula and also completing the square. Okay, so firstly, for factorization, let's use this equation. Okay, on a side note, okay, if you have an equation, you can use any of those methods to solve the quadratic equation, but some methods are easier and faster than the others. So in this case, that we know that this particular example, you can actually just factorize. Okay, I've told you how to use your calculator. So you can actually factorize that. This, if you press your calculator, you will get an answer of x1 is negative 6 and x2 is 4. So if you want to factorize that out, okay, it's going to be x plus 6 and also x minus 4, which is equal to 0. Okay, and from here we know that x plus 6 equals to 0. So x equals to negative 6. X minus 4 equals to 0. So x is 4. Okay, so our answer is x equals to negative 6 or x equals to 4. Now, I would like to introduce to you a new method of solving the quadratic equation, which is a quadratic formula. Okay, you can actually just use a quadratic formula to solve any equation. Okay, so but first we need to always write the equation in terms of or express the equation in terms of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay, so the quadratic formula is given by x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so you just need to key in the numbers, the coefficients, 2, b as 2, a as 1, and c as negative 24. Okay, very important here. Okay, something very important to note, that you always need to do this when you are punching in all the numbers in. So let's do that. Okay, we know that we'll use this equation as well. So we have our a is 1, our b is 2, and our c is negative 24. Okay, let's just put that into the equation. So our b is negative 2 plus or minus square root of b square, which is 2 square, that's 4, minus 4a. Our a is just 1, so I won't be bothered writing 1 there. And negative 24, just write there negative 24. Okay, over 2a, and our a we already know a is 1, so just put there as 2. So let's do this. Negative 2 plus or minus, okay, this is the square root of 4 minus 4 times negative 24, so that's gonna be plus now what's this? 24 times 4, 16, for 56 over 2. Oh, sorry, this is not 56, but this is actually 96. 96. Okay, 96. So let's punch in that number. We already know that that's equals to 100. Okay, so negative 2 plus or minus. The square root of 100 is 10 over 2. So when you have a quadratic formula, okay, plus or minus means that one answer is plus. Okay, take the plus, and then the other answer you take the negative. Okay, so we know that the answer, okay, x can be 2, negative 2 plus 10 over 2. So that's negative 12 over 2, which is negative 6. And we also have another answer here, x equals to negative 2 minus 10 over 2. Okay, oh, sorry, got this wrong. Okay, this is 8. 8 over 2, and this is 4. This is negative 12 over 2, so this is negative 6. Okay, so we got an answer. So basically we have this answer, okay, which is actually the same as what we have here. Okay, so we can use another method to get the same answer. Okay, so yeah, you can use a quadratic formula. Okay, let me introduce you to another way of solving the quadratic equation is by using completing the square. Okay, this is a bit tricky. Okay, we are going to use the same equation. So that particular equation is, let me get that for a sec. To recap, x squared plus 2x minus 24 is equals to 0. Okay, for completing the square, you need to know, okay, we always want to write an equation in terms of x plus or minus, okay, plus or minus some number here, let me, some number here, to the power of 2. Okay, so for this instance, okay, we can actually see that x plus 1 square, I'll square that. Okay, this is actually x square plus 2x plus 1. Okay, now for this equation, okay, for this equation to become this, okay, we need to minus this equation by 25, correct? Okay, am I correct? Yes. So if we do this, x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 25, this is going to be x squared plus 2x minus 24. Okay, equal to that. Okay, so we can actually just write, okay, this minus this. So basically it's going to be x plus 1 square minus 25 is equal to this particular equation. Okay, so we are going to just change this equation to this. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, we know that x squared plus 2x minus 24 is equals to 0, and we also know that this is also equal to x plus 1 square minus 25, which is equal to 0. Okay, so to solve, now we just solve for x. Okay, x plus 1 square equals to 25. Okay, so we're gonna bring the square over to that side. It's gonna be 25 Don't forget the plus and minus. Okay, x plus 1. So, and we already know that this is 5. So, x is equal to plus or minus 5 plus 1. Okay, remember plus and minus, just take 1 as the solution and the minus is solution. So plus is one solution and minus is one solution. So, and then we will have x equals to 5 plus 1, which is 6. And we also have x equal to negative 5 plus 1, which is negative 4. Aha, look. We have actually the same answer that we're looking for. X equals to 4, x equals to 6. Okay? Oh, sorry, got this wrong here. Should be negative. Okay, sorry about that. Minus 1, minus 1, negative 6. This is 4. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so my question to you, which is the easiest one for this particular equation? X squared plus 2x minus 4. I know your answer is going to be factorization is the easiest one, correct? Okay, but sometimes factorization could not work. Okay, it doesn't, you can't actually factorize the particular quadratic equation. So if you can't factorize it, we will use, okay, we need to use and we will use these two methods. Okay, so I'll give you an example that a quadratic equation that cannot be factorized. Okay, and that particular equation is, okay, x squared plus 6x plus 6 equal to 0. Okay, so let's divide this into two parts. Okay, here we are going to use the quadratic formula. And here we are using the completing the square. Okay, I usually use the quadratic formula because it's much easier. Okay, when using completing the square, you need to have a some guess. Okay, and that takes some experience. So let's do the quadratic formula. It's quite straightforward. Okay, so we know that A is 1, B is 6, and C is also 6. Okay, so, and we know the quadratic formula is x equals to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, our b is 6, negative 6 plus or minus b squared, 6 squared is 36 minus 4. A is just 1, so I won't be bothered. 6. Okay, over 2a. Okay, so now we have negative 6 plus or minus, what's this? 36 minus 4 times 6 is 24. Let's do that. Minus 24. Okay, over 2. Okay, A is just 2. Okay, so from here, we already know that that is negative 6 plus or minus square root of 12 over 2. Okay, which means I can actually simplify this equation. Okay, but I'm doing some magic here, but trust me, just use a calculator and look at and round your answers to the nearest two decimal point, and then you'll get the same answer. Basically, this is going to be negative 6 plus or minus. Now this is the magic part I'm going to do here. So this is 2 square root of 3 over 2. Okay, and this becomes negative 6 plus or minus, oh sorry, negative 3. Okay, we're going to cancel that out. Okay, square root of 3. Okay, so your answer is going to be x equals to negative 3 plus or minus square root of 3, or x equals to negative 3 plus or minus square root of, oh sorry, one is plus, one is minus, one is plus, one is minus, negative square root of 3. Okay, just use a calculator. I don't have my calculator with you, so find an answer there. Okay, so basically we will get an answer like this. Okay, this is by using the quadratic formula. Okay, now what if we use the completing the square method? Okay, so for this one I'll just use, okay, because we know here this is 6, so I'm gonna do x square, oh sorry, x plus 3 square as my base. Okay, why do I take 3? Because we know when you expand, okay, we want this number to become the same. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, if we expand this number, this is going to be x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, what we want is x squared plus 6 plus 6x. Okay, so what do you need to do to make this particular equation equal to this equation? Okay, we need to minus it by 3, so just minus that by 3, and also here minus this by 3, and we're going to get that equation. So I'm going to change that equation to x squared plus 6x plus 6 equals to 0, and this is basically just equals to that. Okay, x plus 3 square minus 3 equals to 0. Okay, now we just solve for x. X plus 3 square is equal to 3. So we are going to bring that over there, the square over there, so it's going to be 3 plus or minus, remember the plus or minus, x plus 3. So your answer for x is going to be plus or minus square root of 3 minus 3. Okay, so we can also write x is square root of 3 minus 3, or x equals to negative square root of 3 minus 3. Now, just look here, and then, and then just use your calculator and find, what's the answer for that. Okay, so you can actually see here, okay, that we have the same answer using a different method. Okay, so use any method that suits you, but I suggest using the quadratic formula because it's much easier. You are just punching in the numbers inside. But remember, this is very, very important. Bit mass. Okay, you need to do the brackets first, then the indices, then the division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction. Okay, so we're done with that. So can you do exercises 13.10 all on your left hand side? Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much, my student. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.